Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed...
Let's talk about the state of the election today, because I'm sure you've heard for the past week that there is a new hype train forming around Kamala Harris. Democrats are excited. They are invigorated about their new candidate. They're claiming that the Trump campaign is panicking. They're scared about running against Kamala. But today, I think it is important to separate perception from reality, separate the hype from the actual state of the election. So we're going to talk about polls today. We're going to talk about the new Trump campaign strategy against Kamala and show you that this big hype that is forming may not be as real as some people may think. So folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and let's get into this. But I think it is first important to point out that what you've seen the past week is going to be Kamala Harris's honeymoon phase. And what does that mean? It means, you know, Democrats just replaced Biden with a fresh new candidate. There's going to be energy. There's going to be excitement around her for the next maybe couple weeks or so. But at the same time, she has not been attacked yet, right? And as you saw in the 2020 primary, the more that Americans on average are exposed to Kamala Harris, the more they don't really like her. And so in many ways, it's fair to assume this is possibly the best that Kamala Harris is going to do is right now. And yet, when you take a look at polling averages, I know there's all this hype around, oh, this one poll has Kamala up. But when you take a look at the aggregate of most of the polls, what we're still finding is, yes, Kamala Harris is doing a little bit better than Biden, which is easy to do considering Biden was a complete train wreck at the end, but she is still not beating Trump in the election. So check this out. Decision Desk released their new post-Biden drop polling shifts, and what we're finding in a lot of these is Kamala is going up a little bit, but at the same time, it's not a significant enough change. And keep in mind that Trump was already winning in the election by the polls. So take a look at this, right? In the national polling average from Decision Desk, before the dropout, it was Trump +2. Post dropout, it's still Trump +2, and that's based on 11 polls. You do see some shift in favor of Kamala. For instance, Arizona used to be Trump +7. Now it is Trump +6. You know, just so keep that in mind, right? She's doing better, but is she doing better enough than Biden to win the election, who is already losing pretty bad? Again, this is where we have to separate perception from reality. In Georgia, before it was Trump +7, now it is Trump +5. Some of these states don't have any polling here, but Michigan, Trump +2 to Trump +2. You're seeing not a lot of big shifts, right? Some of these are staying the same. In Pennsylvania, before it was Trump +4, now it's Trump +3. So let's keep that in mind, folks. And listen, I'm not saying that to get complacent. I think there's absolutely truth in the idea that Kamala Harris is more popular than Biden was after the June 27th debate. And it's absolutely true. You're running against a new candidate. The Democrat base has an extra energy now. They're probably going to turn out a lot more for Kamala Harris than Joe Biden. And you're running against a different candidate. So you do have to change your campaign strategy, right? You're not running against Biden anymore. So these are all things to keep in mind. I'm not saying the election is going to be easy by any means. They definitely threw us a curveball, but at the same time, all these conservatives I see on the internet who are panicking, they're saying, oh no, it's over, guys, we screwed this up. Just calm down, okay? Just calm down. The election is still very winnable. Yes, Kamala Harris presents a new challenge that Joe Biden didn't, but again, just relax, okay? We're still in a good position. We just need to hammer home the right messaging, which I will show you in a second. It seems like Donald Trump and his campaign's doing a good job of. And this is Trump versus Harris in the polls in July. And you can see in the national popular vote, we still have Trump up by 1.7. Now, keep in mind, some of these polls that were conducted were before the actual dropout. But even if you want to toss these out, it's a close election. Don't get me wrong, in the national popular vote. But not only do you have Trump still leading in it, but let's also keep in mind, we don't have to win the popular vote to win the electoral college, right? So even if Harris, like this morning consult poll, is up +1, look at 2016, that still means we're in a pretty good position to be winning the electoral college. And then you take a look at a state like Pennsylvania, it is pretty close. And obviously this is going to be a key battleground state in the election. And look at it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is pretty close. And yes, these bottom polls here like Trump plus 6, Trump plus 7. That was before Biden dropped out. So since then, we have about like Trump plus 2, Trump plus 2. Fox News has it as a tie. It's close, okay? Is it probably within the margin of error? Yes. Should we just get totally complacent? Absolutely not. But at the same time, keep this in mind. It is Kamala Harris's honeymoon phase, and we still maintain a narrow lead. Obviously, there is work to be done, but again, to say that we're still in a bad position, to say we should be panicking, I just don't think that is accurate. And the greatest point of optimism that I personally have is I've been watching what the Trump campaign ads against Kamala Harris have been, and I think the messaging has been pretty on point, because where is the best way to attack Kamala Harris? Well, first of all, it's to say that because she's the VP, she is responsible for the failures of Joe Biden, especially in regards to immigration, considering she was put in charge of the border. Of course, you have the media now claiming that, oh, that's not true. Yes, it is true. Okay, fact check, it is absolutely true. And that's number one. But number two as well is to bring up her comments from 2020 and suggest she's significantly more radical than Joe Biden. That is an attack that will hammer home. You can absolutely believe. And with that said, let's take a look at what some of the new Trump campaign ads have been against Kamala. And again, I think the messaging here is pretty on point and gives me pretty good optimism that after her honeymoon phase is over, these attacks are going to start to land, and we're in a good position. So take a look. These are some of the Trump campaign ads that they've been running.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed murder. And Kamala even protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Again, I literally think that is the perfect message, okay? Because in those 30 seconds, not only did you hammer home, she is incredibly soft on crime. All the crime problems that America's major cities are dealing with are the responsibility, or they reflect, I should say, the agenda of Kamala Harris. But on top of that, you also managed to hammer home the immigration point in that same breath and stroke. So that is a campaign ad, I think, again, right on the money. You run stuff like this in the swing states, you got it. Her little honeymoon is going to be destroyed. But check this out. This is another Trump campaign ad bringing up her record on BLM and talking about how she tried to bail out the BLM rioters in 2020. This is something we need to hammer home, especially. Stop all this talk about how Kamala Harris is racist because she was hard on crime when she was a prosecutor at some point. No, the reality is she's soft on crime. That is the popular agenda with Americans, because Americans are sick of the crime we're seeing in our cities. They want to live in safe communities. If you can draw a contrast between the conservatives and the liberals on this, Trump and Kamala, that's the position you want to be in. So check this out. Another Trump campaign ad right here.
Harris sending this out on X. If you're able to chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota.
Thanks to Harris's promotion, the group reportedly raised $35 million in just a few weeks.
Darnica Floyd, charged with second-degree murder for stabbing a friend to death. She got out of jail, too. A twice-convicted rapist, currently charged with kidnapping and sexual assault, and he walks out, too.
The Freedom Fund in donation when it was promoted by many, including now Vice President Kamala Harris.
Sean Michael Tillman shot and killed a passenger on a train platform after reportedly being released from jail 3 weeks prior. All thanks to the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
Donovan Boone was charged with breaking into the home of an ex-girlfriend and choking her. Freedom Fund bailed him out for $3,000 cash, and he hasn't shown up for court since.
I often don't even look at a charge specifics when I bail someone out.
The Hennepin County attorney called out the Minnesota Freedom Fund for bailing Mosley out of jail twice previously, even though he was arrested for having a gun in the courthouse.
The Minnesota Freedom Fund, which pays cash bail for low-income criminals, paid Tims's entire $10,000 bail in cash.
11 days later, police found a man bleeding from the head and ears in this alley. Police were able to arrest Tims in connection to this violent assault.
Howard was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The Minnesota Freedom Fund acknowledged supporting Howard's bail.
Again, I look at the Trump campaign right now, and obviously everyone's concerned, hey, are they going to hammer home the right messaging against Kamala? This is the perfect messaging, okay? It's just perfect, because not only is it true, but it doesn't attack Kamala on something frivolous, right? It instills fear, and it's very righteous fear, by the way. You should be scared of the crime policies of Kamala, but that's a powerful method to get people to show up to vote, right? People need to view Kamala Harris as dangerous, as radical, as insane. That's why in many ways she's a little bit different of a candidate to run against than Biden, because as bad as Biden was, I don't know how many people were necessarily scared of Biden. It's more like he's incompetent. They feel almost bad for him. He just shouldn't be running the country. Kamala Harris, you got to be aggressive, okay? Because it's a very different angle you're taking here. And again, the Trump campaign seems to fully understand that. But you notice on other issues, they're also running messages like this, which is to tie Kamala to the unpopular aspects of the Biden presidency. For instance, Bidenomics. So take a look at this here as well.
Biomics is working. It's a term we're very proud of, I must tell you, because Biomics is working. It's working. Biomics. Biomics. And Biomics is working. All of this is part of our blueprint together for what America can be. This is Biomics. Biomics. That is called Biomics, and we are very proud of Biomics.
I love the music. I love the kind of fear that is instilled by these ads. And again, I'm not saying it's fear-mongering by any sense. You should be scared, right? You should be scared of Kamala Harris. I think in a big way, that's part of why Trump beat Hillary in 2016, is that Hillary was threatening to people, right? People thought she was kind of insane, corrupt, or whatever it is. She's going to start war. That's the type of thing you also have to do with Kamala Harris. So in conclusion here, folks, again, is Kamala Harris polling in some instances better than Biden was? Yes, that's to be expected. But at the same time, there's no strong indication that she is winning the election. Trump is still leading, even though it just got a lot closer. But more importantly than that, Kamala Harris is in her honeymoon phase right now. Over time, these attacks are going to land. These ads are going to be running. And in that sense, you're going to totally change the narrative. And so if it's the case right now, Kamala is still losing in a close election to Trump. Just wait till these ads hit in, again, not to be complacent, hammer it home. We got work to do, but assuming we can deliver, I don't think anyone should be concerned or panicking about the election. Yes, heightened sense of alertness. Hey, we're running against a stronger candidate than Joe Biden was at the end. But at the same time, don't panic, okay? We're doing fine. We got this. It's not in the bag, but we got this. So just keep going, keep pushing, and we're going to be fine, guys. We're going to be fine. Stop panicking. Stop freaking out. I think the Trump campaign knows what it's doing, right? He's done this 3 times. He learned from the mistakes of 2020. He, in many ways, is replicating some of these successful strategies in 2016. It's a well-oiled machine. The ground game is much more aggressive than it was maybe the past 2 times. Just don't freak out. But all right, with that said, folks, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.